I'm putting medication together. So that's what I'm doing right now. I don't look like myself right now. You see my you see my background, you see my logo, my 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 logo in the back. I'm putting my medication together. So um this is what I do all day. When I run out, I put it all together in my medication box. My medication. My medication is 7 bottles of this. Sorry, I keep looking down, uh, trying to figure out which one is this. I know the medication, but shoot. Um, I take these twice a day. So, two of them. Yeah, let's say two. This medication, bro. I promise you. I promise you. I'm trying to stay consistent with taking this medicine, bro. You don't get young. You don't get young. You get older. True. I'm getting older. Paying attention to what I'm doing. So that's why I'm looking down and talking at the same time. Make sure I'm doing it right. A couple of years ago, matter of fact, I was helping my cousin out with. It was actually in July. A couple of years back, I was helping my cousin with her son party, and I took my medication, and I kept falling asleep for some reason. Now, the medication I do take, the medication I'm on, it do make me drowsy sometimes. It makes me tired. So I'm doing a video. I just refill my medication box. It comes easier when it when you taking medication for a long time. It comes easy to remember how the medication goes. I told my doctors, I am not comfortable taking medication. I've been taking medication for like, since I was 14, since 2004. I've been taking medication. Never got used to it. I had high blood pressure. I had high blood pressure for some reason. Well, okay. I was on dialysis. I found out that I needed to be on dialysis. So when I found that out, I had high blood pressure. Um, I had high blood pressure, and basically found out that I needed to be on dialysis. So basically I just was like, okay, I didn't think nothing really too much of it. But when I found out that I needed to be on medication, that's that was stressful. When I was 14, I was a freshman going to high school. Out of way, I'm like, no, no, no. They did tell me I will have to eventually be um on dialysis, but you can avoid being on dialysis if you find a match before getting on dialysis. You can avoid that. Me, I, shoot, I didn't have that opportunity to find that match before dialysis. I didn't have that opportunity to find that match. I've been I'm not gonna say I'm sick or nothing like that because God do not make mistakes at the end of the day. I ended up on dialysis in 2009. I was 14 when I found out. I was like 20, 21 or something like that when I was on dialysis, when I started dialysis. Thank God, like basically, it was just hard. So it was like I got sicker and sicker throughout the years. So when I did the dialysis, that stressed me out. I was 8 years old when my grandmother, she did dialysis, but she did dialysis at home. She did dialysis at home. I went to the I went to the clinic to do the dialysis. And I was 14 when I keep saying that. I was 8 years old when she was on dialysis, and I did not know what dialysis was at that time. So my mother had to explain to me what it was. So my mother used to go to the doctor with me to talk with the doctors. So she would talk to the doctors. It was kind of like she was translating the the words that the doctors were saying. I'm sitting right next to it and I'm hearing everything. So she was explaining it to me in a way that I would understand. So to like I just was like, okay. Um First and foremost, I kinda To be honest, to be honest, hold on. In 2006, right? I was like 16, 17. Um, Now when I'm gonna go back for a minute. When I was a baby, I had a tube in my throat. I was on a machine that was helping me breathe. So I had that. So I have that going on. I had that going on. So as a kid, I would look in the mirror and look at the scars that I had. I still have them to this day. So I would look at my scars that I um that I have. So I had a tube in my throat. I was on the breathing machine. The machine was breathing for me. Um they took the tube out my throat because I was breathing on my own. Thank you, God. I was breathing on my own. They took the tube out. They put dissolvable stitches in my throat to cover up the scar. Like they put the dissolvable stitches in my throat. So when I got older, so when I was younger, the that wasn't bothering me. You feel me? So I was looking at my scars in the mirror. I was looking at all. Got a lot of scars on my body. So I was looking at all the scars that's on my body. And here it is. I'm a teenager. And I I be looking at my body. I be looking at all the 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 things that I've been throughout my years. I've been on this earth for a long time, and I look at the scars that I have today from the surgeries that I had. The surgeries that I had, I look at that. I look at a lot of things. I look at that. I examine my own body, so it's like basically I look at the scars that reminds me of what I've been through. That's the only good way to put it. So it's so much stuff that I've been through. So it's like medication. I don't even remember. I do not even remember my first seizure. I don't remember my first seizure. I don't remember that, that type of thing. So the thing is, I look at the scars that where I've been. So what happened? Had a, I so with the tube in my throat, they patched it up with the dissolvable stitches. So I was like 16 or 17, something like that. So it was this. boil, like this bump on my neck. It was a pink bump. It's like rubbery. So I would bust it sometimes, and my mama like, don't play with it, leave it alone. It was irritating. So I busted one time, and I had showed my mom like, look, I don't know what this is. This I don't know what this bump is on my neck, but it was pink and it was rubbery. She's like, I gotta take you to the doctor. So I go to the doctor, and they did an X-ray on me. And once they did that X-ray, I was in the waiting room. I was in the room waiting for the doctor. The doctor's like, uh, well, we found the problem. He was they was like, did your son ever have um dissolvable stitches in his throat? My mom was like, yes, he had a tube in his throat, and they put dissolvable stitches. Shit, they was like, well, we found the problem. The dissolvable stitches, all of them dissolved except for one stitch. It was a stitch from when I was it was a stitch in my neck from when I was a baby in my neck, and it didn't bother me until I want to say 2005, 2006, something like that. It didn't bother me until then. So they was like, well, it's a stitch in his neck that we will have to get. He will have to go through surgery to remove it. It's not like he will have to stay in the hospital. He can come in, we can take it out, he could rest, and then he can go home. Okay. So it's like I'm like, first and foremost, I'm just thinking to myself like, cause at that time I was steady going back and forth to the doctors, and my mom, she was like basically telling me everything that was going on because I barely understood it. I barely got the picture of it. I barely did it. Like I barely understood it. So I was like, okay, I gotta go through all of this. Um, when they told me that, I'm like, okay, wow, I was just stitching my neck, and I'm not. I don't know that. I'm a kid. I don't know that. Like my mom did tell me that she told me that when I was young, she told me like when you was a kid, you had to be on a machine to help you breathe. She was like, you had to be on a machine to breathe, and you was very sick when you were a kid. You know how when you was a kid, right? When back in the day, when you, and that's weird to say, back then when you were a kid, the doctor would take a picture of your child when they first born. They'll take a picture of your kid when they was young, and I don't know if they still do that. They don't. I don't know if they still do that, but they used to take pictures of the baby when they was born and give it to the parent. They would give the video. They would give the picture to the parent. So all my siblings, my brothers, my sister, all of them, they took a picture of them when they were young. And I was so sick to the point where they couldn't do all of that. They couldn't do that. They had to immediately put me in surgery to help me breathe. And the crazy part is I fully don't really fully don't know the the that type um that day when I was born. I don't fully know that part. But when I was young, right? If I wanted some milk, I couldn't drink that milk, the baby milk. You know, it's a different type of milk that my mother used to have, and she made it. If it wasn't for her, it was my auntie or my grandmother, the people that she showed how to make that. It was a type of special milk for only me, and and it was that milk where she had to. If I did not drink it all, she could not put it in the refrigerator. She could, if I didn't drink it all, she couldn't put it in the refrigerator. And if I want, like, she couldn't, she had to pour it out. That was a special type of milk that I had, and that milk was expensive. So so I just was like, okay, so that's what I've been through growing up. That was what I was dealing with growing up. So I'm like, okay. So it was a lot of stuff that was happening with me. It was a lot of stuff, and I'm gonna tell you how strong my mother is. Strong, my that's a strong woman. Shoot, that's a strong person right there. Me, I lost. I was 3 years old and I lost my father. I was 3 years old, and it was like my uncles, like my uncles and my family member, the men that's in my family. I felt okay. I'm gonna be honest. I felt like my father's not here. I have my uncles coming around. I have my aunts coming around. My grandmother, she was coming around. Everybody was coming around. My godmother, my cousins, everybody. It was like, I'm talking about the males, okay? I had a lot of family members coming around, but I'm talking about the men that's in my family, right? So I got two older brothers. I got older brothers. So, and I got an older sister. So the support was there. The support was there, and it still is. But it's like, basically, I don't have my father in my life, but I have men around me that teaches me the right things to do. I have them type of men in my family. I My videos, right? I would love for my videos to touch somebody. Okay, I would love for that to happen. I would love for that my words can inspire somebody else. It's so many things. Like, I had that male figure in my life. I had them type of male figures in my life, but that one piece was always missing, and it's always been missing. So it's like, I couldn't do nothing about it. So it's like it was like I just felt like, wow. I'm gonna go back. I was 2 years old. That's how old I was. I was two when I lost my father. Not three. And I always saying that I was three. My bad. I was 2 years old. Yeah, I was two. Cause that was like in November. My father passed. 1991. That's when my father passed. Um, I didn't understand that part. Um, so going back, I know I ramble a lot. I ramble a lot. It's just that I'm just hoping my words can touch somebody. I just wish, like, people go through a lot of things. People go through a lot of things, and it's like, it's weird. So it's like I was three. I was 2 years old when when my father passed away, and I'm hearing the stories from family members. They're telling me the stories on how my father was. My mother, she telling me the stories on how he was, and it's like as a kid, parent like people that kids that have that they don't have that parent in that father in their life. I'm God, I'm sorry to say it, but if that kid don't have a father in their life by the fact that something happened, it was like it's not nobody's fault. It's nobody's fault because there's parents out here that be be there, but be they alive and they know they got kids, but don't have the chance to see them. I'm not bashing nobody, bro. I'm just speaking on how I feel right now. Uh, me personally, I'm just talking to myself about myself personally, like for real. I grew up without my father, and I wanted that fatherly love, but I never really got it because my father was gone. But I always had the male people in my family, in my circle. They're still there. Half of them are not, but I still have that person, you know. And I have that person, and it's like basically what do what do you do? Like if that kid is like basically you don't like basically kids without fathers, they'll run to the street. They'll really they don't have that father in their life. They gonna run to something else. Like a parent, like my mother was both my father and my mother, but I did have my brothers and my sister and my uncles and cousins, people that really truly care. And I had that, and it's like I'm like I'm like it just is. it's weird because I don't celebrate Father's Day. I don't celebrate that, but I can celebrate Mother's Day. So I can't speak for everybody. I can speak for myself, but I'm just trying to throw that type of thing out there. So it's like a lot of things that I think about. I try to put them out on my YouTube. I try to put them out there. If I have a problem, I'll go to one of my family members to talk with them. I go to, um, cause I see kids with their fathers. I see kids with their fathers. I see, uh, fathers that does right. I do. Like I'm not gonna say I never got taught anything by a man. I did get taught things by my family. So it's like it's like I just had that that feeling sometimes. I just be wanting to talk to him. I just be wanting to talk to him. And he was there when I was born, seeing me going through what I've been through. But I wish he was here to see what I'm going through now, what I have now. I have my family. I have everybody. Thing was, they what I'm way off the subject, but it's like that year I found out that it was a stitch in my neck. I said a breathing machine. I was on a breathing machine that was breathing for me, and a miracle happened. One night, like my mother said this, I don't know, but I believe it. But one night, the nurse comes in the room where I'm at. She sees the um, she see the machine stop breathing, like pumping air, like the machine stopped. She came over and felt my heart. She felt it, like she put her hands on me and she ran out like and she came out and told the doctors like he's breathing on his own. The machine stopped, but he's breathing on his own. I used to tell them, I used to tell my friends and them when I was at school, like I would want to be treated the same way as you've been treated. Not the same way, but I would want to be treated the same way you are treated. My friend, my cousin, I was talking with her the other day, and she was like, basically, you got that support system around you, and you like, I have that support. I have that type of them type of people around me. I have that, you know. So I just feel like I accomplished a lot of stuff as a kid. I accomplished a lot of things. I accomplished a lot of stuff. And like I just wish that everything I don't take nothing for granted, basically. I try not to. Um it it is just so much that I've been through. People told me I could write a book. I'm taking it one step at a time first. I'm taking it one day at a time. I'm taking it one day at a time. Um, I'm like, I'm blessed with it. I'm blessed with it. Um, a lot of people thought that I couldn't live by myself. I never. It's not dwelling on stuff. It's like I'm just telling my story. So that's what I'm doing. I'm telling my story. And hey, it's like a lot of stuff catches up. Like if you have a disability, if you have an illness or anything like that, that will creep up on you because it's not gonna creep up on you. It's gonna be there, but it's gonna it that the pain, the suffering, all of that. I'm not even going through that. But um, they took the dissolvable stitch. They took the stitch out my neck. Um, it was kind of like around the same time I'm really like going through it to the point where I'm going through what my grandmother went through with the dialysis. But like I say, the difference that I had was um I did mine. I did my dialysis in a clinic. At home, you always got to keep your place clean. You have to have your spot clean. You always have to have that. You always have to have um bleach everything down. You gotta bleach it out. So with dialysis, um, if you drink something, that's gonna swell up your face. That's gonna swell your body up. I did dialysis, and I never thought I was gonna get off from dialysis, but it was kind of weird how it began. Me knowing that I had to be on dialysis. I knew I had to be on dialysis. You know, so um, I had Walker pneumonia. I had pneumonia back in 2009. So back in 2009, I had no. One night I woke up, and I woke up, and I walked past my mama's room. I couldn't breathe. I walked past my mama's room and went to my uncle and told my uncle that I couldn't breathe. My uncle was like, "Come on, sit down. I'm finna get your mom." It's funny now. It's funny now, but it wasn't funny back then. It's funny now because you know my uncle is gone too. My uncle passed away 2020. So I lost my uncle in 2020. Um, the beginning of the year, to be exact. The beginning of the year. Not shoot. It was already like January. the last month of January. It was like, shoot, it was like my sister was having a party for her birthday, and I was going shopping so I could go out there for my sister to celebrate her birthday with my with her. I was celebrating. And I get a phone call from my brother, and I'm telling him I thought he was joking at first. And he say, yeah, mm, Jeffrey, that's my uncle. Rest in peace to him. He say Jeffrey just passed away. I'm not gonna tell y'all everything, but yeah, that's what happened. Cried like a baby. I cried like a baby. I cried so hard. I couldn't sleep. Barely was eating. And I was barely eating. I was crying a lot. I was trying to get past that point because um I felt so hurt because at that moment my brother called when my brother was calling me. I was getting ready to go shopping. I was getting ready to head out and go out there to see them. Most of all, he was getting out the hospital too, and he was out the hospital. He got out the hospital, and I was going to go see him. I was gonna go see my uncle, but it was too late. The thing was, I play with my brother sometimes. I play with him sometimes, but the thing was, I was just I thought he was joking with me. So um, he said Jeffrey just passed away. Jeffrey is my uncle. So um, I still went out there. I didn't feel right. I did not feel right that day. My cousin was pregnant, about to have her baby. I was we in the pandemic at this time. We in a pandemic at this time. So you really can't go nowhere. You really can't go outside. You can't like you can go outside to handle your business, but you couldn't go outside like that. So that was close to the pandemic. So um so my sister was throwing a sneaker ball for her birthday. Um it was too late for me to go see my uncle. But he's like my father figure. But that's my mother's brother too. He's like my father figure. So all my mother's brothers, uncles, all her people, all that like brothers and uncles that she have was like a figure to me. But at the same time, back in that was like 2007 that I had that stitch in my neck. 17, I keep saying seven. It was 17. So it was like no, not 17. I'm tweaking. It was like 2007 that I had that stitch in my neck. It's like I'm all the way off topic. I don't know, and I don't care. But it was like complications. I knew I had to be on dialysis. I woke up and I sure passed my mother room and told her. When I went to told him, he sat me down. Hold on. And my uncle's like basically that type of person, not to panic. He was not. He was that type of person to not. He not everything that happened. It never. He never felt scared. He never felt um scared. He was like calm, a calm person. So when I told him I could breathe, he just knocked on my mama's door, calm. Yo, son out here talk about he can't breathe. Okay. it, like I said, it wasn't funny back then. It was funny. It's funny now, but it wasn't funny back then. So it's like I just had that, you know, experience. I found out that I had pneumonia. I had a tube in my throat. I had a fistula in my chest. I had surgery multiple times back in 2009. So they took me to the hospital. When they took me to the hospital, they say, yeah, he had to go to me. He had to be admitted into the hospital. I had to go to surgery right away. He had to go on dialysis right away. So I don't know what that procedure was like. Basically, I didn't know at that time. So there was so much going on with me. My body was hurting. My lips was cracking. Face swollen. Face swollen. Everything. And um, at least the doctors, they did give me a heads up about me having to go on dialysis. They actually told me this before this happened. They told me my kidneys was going bad. I had to get on dialysis, not right away, but I sooner or later I would have to go on dialysis. And sure enough, I had pneumonia. I had pneumonia, and I'm sorry, hold on, somebody. So I was like, okay, hey, I got the battle scars to prove it. So I was on dialysis for 6.5 years, from 2000 from 2009 to 2000 from 2009 from to 2016, and I'm still kicking. So I'm still kicking, okay? But yeah, I just want to make a video today. Motivation, okay? The motivation dream. That's a new topic. Motivation dreams. So that's a good idea. Like motivation dreams. Anything I put my mind to, I try to fight with it and make it come true. I try to fight with it, like let it come naturally though. That's how I feel. But yeah, I have to go. You guys be safe. Talk to you guys soon.